Welcome to Mme Mmatswale, episode 4 with Mother O. Thank you for tuning in. Continue subscribing, continue sending us those comments and stories. Next week, Sunday, we will be with experts discussing those questions that you are giving us and the stories that you are sending through. Today, we are going to be discussing on the role clarification and boundaries between mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law. The purpose of this topic for today is to help us understand what boundaries are. We need to define some boundaries between mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law. And we'll want to help mothers-in-law establish healthy boundaries, not just boundaries, but healthy boundaries. We also want to help mothers-in-law understand, together with their daughters-in-law, understand how to manage the changes that are before them and to be able to fit in their new roles. Today in the studio, we have mother-in-love and daughter-in-love. Mme Mmatswale, mother-in-love, and daughter-in-love, Gugu Mokoena. Mme Mmatswale, can you say hello to the viewers out there?
Hello to all the people that are with us today. Hello, viewers. And thank you so much, Mother, for having us in this show.
You are welcome. Gugu, can you say hello to beautiful people, mothers-in-law, daughters-in-law? Give them a shout out.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Mother. Thank you so much for having us. It's truly an honor to be here.
What a beautiful couple of mother and daughter-in-law. I don't know how they made the choices, whether Mme Mmatswale went about choosing for the son. But Gugu, how long have you been married so far? And how has it been? Because I see you are still intact.
I've been married for a couple of years. 8 years to be precise, and it's been a journey for me, learning a lot, and I'm learning a lot about myself also. I'm still learning. So yes, I've been in Makoti for 8 whole years.
8 full years. And I also understand that you don't live very far from your mother-in-law. You guys, you are in the same territory, in the same town. So I want to know, on a scale of 1 to 5 in terms of the fun levels, 5 being the highest, how much of fun is it to have you staying and living in the same area as your mother-in-law? I mean, for that 8 years.
Sure, Mother.
Honesty.
You're putting me on the spot here. Okay. I'm going to answer honestly, ne? Honest.
She's not listening. Don't worry.
Okay. I'm going to give it a nice 5.
Oh.
For me and her. Okay. I'm going to explain why for me. Okay. She lives not far from me, and it's got its disadvantages. I'm not going to lie. They are always here, and it's not just her. She
and the bunch of the girls.
Everyone.
Oh, I
here.
see.
So I see them everywhere I go. They are there, and at some point, Vele, you need your space, you need your time, But it's got advantages for me, and the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, I'll give an example. When I had kids, it helped me out a lot, And I know now, Uguti, if I can't pick up my daughter or my son from school, I can call someone close by, someone I trust, someone I know I can trust my kids with, So that for me is one of the things that's how I choose to look at it, I choose to see the good in it. So I'll give it a 5, Mother.
It's a 5. You can hear that it's a 5 on the scale of how much fun having your mother-in-law living close by, you. Mme Mmatswale, this pretty little woman is married to the one and only begotten son. Out of how many daughters
4 daughters, mother.
4 daughters, and then one and only begotten son gets married to this woman for 8 years. How has it been?
Mother, I must be honest, it was quite alarming, but I took it as a blessing as well, because she was coming to add value to the family and to enlarge the territory of this family. Because her being there means the family is growing. The girls will soon be gone, but she is here. So I will never be left alone.
You are stuck with her.
I'm stuck with her. So she is more than a daughter to me, because,
She's
like I
stuck.
said, she will be here with me.
Forever.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 5, could you say staying and living around your daughter-in-law in the same vicinity, it has been fun? That fun level, on a scale of 1 to 5, are you rating it the same as she said, at 5, or where are you putting it?
It's definitely a 5. With
Wow,
no doubts for me.
no doubt.
No doubts for me, because, I call her anytime and she always jumps and comes to my rescue. My son is here. To me, I'm more holy now than I was before.
Guys, this mother-in-law is spoiled.
I am.
I call anytime she's here. I call anytime my son is here. Today's topic is about role clarification and boundaries. Boundaries are part of self-care. They are healthy, normal, and necessary. That is Doreen Virtue that says that. So boundaries are nothing else, more like the walls that you are having around your house, the fence that you are having around your house. You are saying, this is my space, this is my place, and this is your place, this is your space. So I want to know, in terms of that, where does mothering end? Because you find there are many stories where the wives will be complaining that my mother-in-law is still treating my husband like a baby, like a child. So where does mothering stop? Do we as mothers-in-law acknowledge that somewhere the mothering, the song must end, somewhere the mothering also must end? When I look at it as more like a relay race. You raise your child from babyhood, he crawls, he goes through teenage stages all this time. You are with your child during the dark days, during the beautiful days. You've got all these memories with your son. Eventually he graduates, eventually he works, and eventually he says, Mama, I have found a wife or somebody that I want to get married to. So you were with that person when she was a child. So does mothering really end? Or you run as in a relay race, with a race of raising up this man, taking care of this man, and when it comes to a point where you need to hand over the baton, you feel like you still have the energy to run, you still are capable to run. So when does mothering end?
To be honest with you, Mother, mothering will not end. It doesn't end. It just becomes an upgrade of where you are from to another level now. When you grow them up as babies, as toddlers, now they go to school, you are trying to develop some sort of independence in their lives. So you cannot want them to be independent and somewhere they must go back to be dependent on you. You don't want a sissy, you want a son. A man that is going to carry out the legacy of the family. So
somebody that is firm.
Somebody that's going to be
that's
firm.
Responsible.
Yes, very true. So the independence and letting go, you have your space, they give them their space. You can't be coming in to make rules for them. Respect them and give them space. And yes, she is the partner, she's the wife, and I'm the mother. I cannot now start assuming the roles of being a wife and taking over, or the role of her now being his mother. It can't. So we all have boundaries, like
stay in your lane.
We
stay
in
in
our
your
lanes.
lane.
Some
So-
self-control as well there. Control yourself.
Control yourself.
Yes.
So it is important to know that somewhere the mothering has to transit.
Yes.
You know, a level up.
Higher level.
You know, you have been pushing for independence. As a child, he has been dependent. So you cannot have a son that you are raising him to be a man. Now he graduates from being a son, now to becoming a man, from a child to becoming a man. So you must allow him to be independent of the mothering and all the support that you have been given, the same one as a child. Google. Now the mother-in-law runs with the baton. And she hands over the baton to you, say, take it, my girl. Do you run and never look back and say, voila, I've got the baton, I'm gone. So how do you then relate with your mother-in-law once the man is yours?
Okay, mother. I wish I could say you run and you never look back. Because a lot of us, we grow up wanting to leave our parents' house and you just want to be on your own and you don't want your parents here telling you what to do, how to do. But in the case of Mama, Magetal, I believe you will need her somewhere. You know, the road you are traveling on now, she's been on it. And she knows the road ahead. And if you want to ostracize her or to push her away, it's going to be difficult for me to go back to her when I have problems and say, Mama, I need help, you know. So you can't leave her behind. She's your mother now, you know. So have her there. I'm not saying every step of the way, but have her there. She should be there.
So I remember my brr. I said, Dali wam, wangbuga wanginyanya, uzongkhumbula mhla uphela amandla, which means, my darling, don't look at me and get annoyed and get irritable. And, you know, someday you will remember me. That's what the song was saying. So even with the mothers-in-law, you may feel like it's too much now, but somehow we all need each other. How do we relate with our daughters-in-law now with the boundaries? You know, sometimes we look at factors like competition. You have been in the life of your son for many years. There are certain things that you know, you understand. You even know what your son, the kind of meals your son loves, the clothes, the things, you know what whether your son needs to be woken up or not, is a late night, you know all these things about your son. And then when this new person comes in and take over that role, somehow there's a temptation or tendency to want to compete and show off that I am still the best. I still can cook the best. I still can, advise the best. I think I know your taste more than, So how do you, when you accept that woman that comes into your child's life, how do you manage yourself in terms of even secretly wanting to remain number one there in his life? How do you manage those expectations?
Mother, competition is actually very suicidal. It can lead you to suicide because competition can be very unhealthy. It's got its own advantages, but in this case, it can't work. We can't compete. We are on two separate roles. She is the wife and I'm the mother. So mine is always to support her. My son loves her and she is a gateway. I always take her as a gateway to my son's heart.
Wow.
So when she knows, I always start with her to say, please help me look at this. How do we bring it to him? Please, when I bring it to him, or start first, when I will follow, put it like it's your idea.
Wow.
If it's a difficult one. Because she is an extension. She is my extension into the whole family, not just my son's life. So, and whatever we do, since I've got girls, I've always taken it to be like sowing a seed. My girls are going to grow one day. My
Wow.
girls are going to be married somewhere one day.
Wow.
So what I do to her, it's something that I must expect to happen to my girls when they grow.
Wow. That is wisdom, great wisdom, great wisdom to say my role now in her life is like being a cheerleader. You know, I'm here to support. I have to be the fan, you know, of my children, the fan of my mother, I mean my daughter-in-law. Like where I was running as an athlete with a baton in my hand, as soon as I give it over to her, I step back. Then I go out, go, and make sure that they build their family, not compete with them. How should daughters-in-law wisely deal with competition, Kuku, without disrespecting them? Because sometimes they just can't avoid being tempted. I take it they're tempted, you know, to go into competition because maybe they feel like they missed out in their life, and then they see things are flourishing, then they get tempted. How do you deal with those tendencies as a daughter-in-law without breaking that poor woman down?
Mother, I feel like Mama said, Uguti, we have different roles, and for me, I can't compete with her. She's my mother. She's my elder, meaning Mngani. I look up to her. I've put her like on a pedestal, and I don't see myself ever being better than her or her being better than me. She's different from me, you know, and she's got her role. But if I were to have a mother that is competing, for me, I would step back, you know. I'll let her do her thing, you know. Let her do her thing, and then I will try to show her that there's no need for that, you know. I'll try to reassure her, Uguti, listen, when you are his mother, it's fine, you know. And I'm not here to chow your son's money and you get nothing or whatever. So, so yeah, I would not compete with her at all. Yeah.
That is very, very awesome to say. You have to have, you know, that discernment to know that this is a mother. Nobody will ever take the role of her being a mother in the life of her son, let alone also in your own life, because you need her also to mother you. So sometimes we need to step back. We mustn't meet on top, because then we are not solving anything. Just give yourself time before you react. Thank you so much, Kuku, for that word of wisdom. I wish for all the daughters-in-law that we can find it in our hearts to give space and know that this is an elderly woman, and how you deal with it. You deal with it with great respect and honor. Some daughters-in-law always have to deal with mothers that are seeking attention all the time and that are trying to constantly manipulate their sons using their illnesses and all sorts of things. Gugu highlighted that some think that this woman is coming to chow my son's money. I want to assure you that if you can allow your daughter-in-law to be, just like Mam Sbongile did, so that anytime you need anything, you know that you can talk to your daughter-in-law. You will have everything that you want, because men are not like women. They don't see what the women see. So allow your daughter-in-law to become a wife to your son and remain a mother to your daughter, to your son. There are some craziest experiences that daughters-in-law go through. I mean, if people can start writing about their craziest experiences that they had with their mothers-in-law, you will be surprised. Are these people really, really alive on earth, or it's a movie, or it's a, you wouldn't understand how can people get to that level. So I want us to look on as to, one or two scenarios and see how we can, break it down and people see themselves in it and start thinking and, clarifying the roles as they see it. I don't want to be that mother-in-law. I want to be that daughter-in-law. So we need to look at some experiences that are common. You know Dumo, the old show, comedy show that we had, where the auntie will come out of nowhere. In Kanyamba, that was her name. She'll come out of nowhere without, announcing that I'm going to be coming to your place. So your mother-in-law is like that in Kanyamba. She just drops into your house, uninvited, unannounced. He says, I'm at the gate or I'm at the door, please open. And planning to stay for a month sometimes. How do you react? Or how must, let me start with you, mother-in-law. How must the daughters-in-law react? Now, mama. Mama, you love your son. You couldn't sleep. You couldn't even find time to phone. Now you are here. So how must your daughter-in-law react to that?
It is common for such practices to be found in such relationships. However, as we are supposed to be matured as mothers-in-law, we have to know our place. We have to respect their privacy. We cannot just dominate over their lives and start dictating terms for them. I am here now and all. It's out of order. The Holy Spirit, if we are Christians, he talks about the fruits of the Holy Spirit, one of which is self-control. No matter how much excited or how much longing I would like to be with my son or my grandchildren and my daughter-in-law, I need to control myself and follow the protocols. Respect, mutual respect. Follow the protocols and don't overstay your welcome, because definitely there will be problems.
Mothers-in-law controls. Controls. Let them know there's a thing called privacy. So let us learn to spell that. Privacy, to say, coming into your daughters-in-law's houses, there is that thing. Let's afford them that space. Love them enough to afford them that space. Now, here is your mother-in-law. She has come unannounced. And then when she rocks up, the first thing said, no, the kitchen is not clean. There are some cockroaches here. You have not packed your things nicely. Your children are uncontrolled. You must teach them manners. Every negative thing, every fault she can find, she throws it at you. When people are there or they are not there in front of her son, it's like, you don't qualify or you are not living up to the standard. You feel like you are already always short of her perfect standards. So how would you react and how would you advise the daughters-in-law and the mothers-in-law, to behave themselves in such situations?
I would encourage daughters-in-law to try establish a relationship with your mother-in-law from the get-go. Have that solid foundation of communication channels being open, and you are able to speak to each other, so that when problems do come up, you are able to sit down and address those problems. And also you need to also try to calm down at that moment. She will say whatever and whatever. Try to calm yourself down. Do not. I wouldn't advise you address it right away. Find a time, a space, or a way to go to her with it and address the matter and say how you feel and how it happened. You might be justified to say it, but how you say it is also another thing, And if my house is dirty, it's dirty, mother. And she can't keep quiet. And just keep quiet, you know. But how you say it to me also matters, you know. So yeah, communication is very key here. And establish it from the get-go. And you guys know. And she shouldn't take offense. You know.
So as I hear you, Kuku, is that there must be some communication around these things. There must be a relationship that allows you to be able to talk into each other. If there's something that you don't like, you are able to raise it without her taking offense and raise it in a respectful manner. And if there is anything that she doesn't like also, how she says it matters. So mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law, how you say it matters. You need to say it at one point, but how is the part that, you know, you need to step back. Gugu says you must breathe. Don't breathe fast and say, let's count up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. And then you get onto it. Take your time, breathe on it, find a suitable space to do that. Here comes the mother-in-law. I love mothers-in-law. You are at work, she's helping you. She's a nice one, she's a super nice one. And she's helping you. When you come back from work, she has rearranged your furniture. She wants freshness. She's giving you a better perspective of your house. The bed can face the door, and then the cupboards can move to the side, and in the sitting you can interchange the lounge and the dining. When you come back from work, you find those things are changed. So how do you address that in terms of you getting there? Mothers-in-law, you feel some things are not in place, and you can see, and you've got you are a very beautiful designer. You can redesign the house or redesign the wardrobe. Maybe the way she looks, you can redesign her wardrobe. I know you sew. You make clothes. you can redesign it. So how do we then treat that one?
As a mother-in-law, it's not my space to go and start changing things at her house. Maybe if I've got an idea, I would rather invite her to my house and show her how I've changed things. What does she think? Is she happy when she... Maybe that will unlock something in her head if I think there's something wrong. But like she explained earlier about communication, nothing beats communication. Really, if I feel that the house is dirty, is it my house? I fail to understand there. Where do I come in to say...
Where do you come in? Yeah. Mama, where do you come in? Really, because you came unannounced.
Even if I was announced, I find things upside down. What do I say? It's not for me. If now with the husband are happy with the setup, I have to be happy because I'm here just to compliment, everything. Even if things are not right, to build a healthy relationship, it's very important to appreciate. Oh my God, this looks so nice. Just appreciate and compliment her for the sake of peace and happiness for all of us.
I think we need to measure in giving one another appreciation. Is how I hear you. I feel maybe I'm hearing you right to say, before you enter, before you go into other people's, houses and try to change them and try to, put order, the first, foremost important thing is for you to give as much appreciation. Maybe at one point, then that door to give advice will be opened for you. Don't open it yourself. Wait until you are invited, to say, how can you help us in this, in a very comfortable and unthreatening way.
Sorry, mother, just to cut you. She might even say to you, oh, you like it, Mama? Yes, it's beautiful. I wasn't sure where to put it. Do you have any suggestions?
You see,
Then
and
you come in.
and then the door is open
The door
for
is
you.
open.
Don't push the door. Wait for the door to be opened for you to give those beautiful advices to your daughters-in-law. Don't throw them at your daughters-in-law. We know that mothers-in-law have things that they can discuss, valuable lessons that they can discuss with their daughters-in-law. Wait for the right moment. Timing is very important, how you raise that. So platforms, are there, that we can be able to talk as mothers and daughters-in-law. So let us create those platforms that are comfortable for both of us to be able to talk about that. The boundaries that daughters-in-law and mothers-in-law have, who must respect those boundaries? Is it only the daughters-in-law that must have boundaries, as we are saying now? Or also the daughter-in-law must respect the boundaries as she gets introduced into the new family? A day after, or when you start joining this family, you are uniting with this new family, is it in the place of a daughter-in-law to put things into perspective, even as she arrives? Like that Makoti, the daughter-in-law, that they say when she got there, she held a meeting, she called for a meeting in the in-laws' place and say, listen here, all of you, the one that was sweeping outside must continue sweeping. The one that was cooking, continue cooking. The one that was doing this, everybody, I'm not here to change anything. I'm here for the bed only. So please continue with your jobs. Is it in the place of the daughter-in-law to set up those rules upright, where the mother-in-law is, trading on her space to tell her off, or, to fight, to be, sometimes we talk about assertiveness. You're fighting for yourself, you're fighting. So is it in her good interest, or, the best way that she can deal with the issues that are at stake when she gets into the mother-in-law space?
That is a big no, in my opinion. You can't come into the family and you are already taking over and bypassing the person who is supposed to introduce you to the family. Each family has its own rules, its own traditions, their own order of doing things. And you can't just get there and you know what to do. You need guidance. You need an elder to help you and to guide you. So I think also the issue of respecting, as black people, we grow up, we know respect. I protocol. Uti, my mother-in-law comes before me. So wait your turn. I think your turn will come to show your stuff. But yeah, respect your elders.
Respect goes a long way. So when you come into a new environment, as much as we have had stories about mothers-in-law or in-laws, doing this and that, when you get into that space, your attitude must be that of respect, understanding, what is going on, the rules that are there already, and trying to fit in into that. So in terms of the status quo, the culture, the style, the food, how far can Makoti go in terms of trying to change them and trying to introduce new things? Supposing you come into a family where there is a father figure, and every time you greet the father figure, you must fall down to your knees, and everybody is doing it. So Makoti, or the daughter-in-law, is it her space to come and say, for me, you can continue doing your thing, and I can do what you all are doing? Can you assist us?
No, mother. When she decides to marry to this family, I think she needs to do some research, especially when it comes to the cultural differences. If it's too wide apart cultures, you need to do some research, understand yourself. Will you be like, it's like going to a different religion altogether, from Christianity to whatever religion. You've decided to go that route, you must understand the way they do things. So do some research so that when you get there, you are like getting to Rome. There is a saying that says, when you are in Rome, do as the Romans do. You cannot come and now try to change things. It won't work for you. So come in, and much as we also need to evolve, we cannot say, because when I came to this family, I was cooking, they made me cook outside in a big pot, so she must get up at 4, she must start sweeping the yard, and because times are changing and times are dynamic. So we need to also move with the flow and say, okay, this is how it's done. If we will be going to the go-go's, we will have to help her. If the mother-in-law is there and she's visiting the go-go's, we need help to render to her, to say, we will wake up with you in the morning, if really it's that strict.
Yes.
To assist her. She's part of us. Like I said, you are sowing a seed. Don't persecute her. Otherwise, you will also end up being persecuted in a way or another through one of your descendants.
So you are sowing seeds.
Yes.
So it is important also to assist the daughter-in-law, understanding the differences that are there in terms of cultures. Make your research, that is what you are saying, so that when you come in, you come ready, understanding that, and come and fit into the culture that is set there. With me and my mother-in-law, we would go to some events, spiritual events, and when we go there, in our times, you're supposed to wear, a hat, you must supposed to cover up to the knee. And then my mother-in-law, because when they stand up, they'll be talking about it, the daughters-in-law must wear like this. My mother-in-law will say to me, you've got a beautiful hairstyle, don't wear that. Don't wear anything on top. And then when we get there, she'll say, these young ones, they don't even have things to put on their heads. We need to allow them to be, and she'll be covering my back. So if we can have mothers-in-law, that will take chances, for their daughters-in-law when it comes to the bigger family events and come together. So how do we set up boundaries? Now we are closing. We spoke about the necessity of having boundaries, and I know with the examples that you have given already, you are thinking about your scenarios, because no one person is the same, situation is the same as another. So you and your mother-in-law, your daughter-in-law, you've got a homework of going backwards to say, how can we then fix our boundaries? If there are no boundaries, you have never had a stop nonsense, you have never had a wall or a fence or electric fence for years, 20 years into your marriage. It was just like in, out, as you wish. So this is the time for you, through this Mme Mmatswale series, to go down, take your mother-in-law out or your daughter-in-law out on an away trip, and start thinking as to how do we establish or re-establish our boundaries. So in this, I want us to conclude to say, how then does communication comes very handy or vital in terms of re-establishing the foundations? Gugu, can you, help us in that?
Boundaries are needed, and it has to be there, I agree. But it's not easy as a daughter-in-law to just go to your mother-in-law and you start giving her your rules and regulations. So I think going back to communication, you and your mother-in-law when you start building, in the beginning, it won't be easy, but you guys have to build together. You have to come to a place where you are comfortable to talk to her about anything, and you know that she will not take offense, and she should not take offense. If the communication is right, she knows I mean well. And she knows I don't hate her. She knows it's not that I don't want her in my house or whatever. But when I say, I would like this and this and this, she should be understanding me and hearing me, because me and her, we've worked so hard to get where we are. I'm 8 years in to the mother-in-law thing, daughter-in-law thing.
Daughter-in-law, it's coming, it's coming.
No, please.
It's coming one day.
So still, even today, I'm still trying to slowly and gradually introduce boundaries. It's not something that will just happen overnight, or you can just come and say this and this and this and this, and it happens. Slowly and gradually, as you guys grow together, you guys get comfortable. I know how far to push her now, and she knows, Kuku, you can go up to here. She's nice,
Yeah.
Mara. You can't go there, So it takes time. Just give yourself time as a Makoti to know your mother, to embrace her, Even if you see Uti, she's not budging, give it time.
Give it time.
Give it time. It will happen, trust me. I was there. I thought it would never happen. But we are here, and it's a good space to be in.
It's work, 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 and it does not happen overnight. Man is a creature of habits, and some of these habits of overstepping, of having no boundaries, they take long to mend. So you need to, give yourself time to work through those boundaries and communicate. How should mothers-in-law deal with the boundaries that are set by her daughter-in-law? Now she has set a little boundaries here, fearfully so, but now she has some little boundaries there. You can't call, at 6 o'clock. You can, So how must the mothers-in-law receive and deal with those boundaries?
Mother, it boils back to one and the same issue. Respect each other. Respect her opinion. Listen carefully. Don't overanalyze, because you might find yourself misinterpreting her. Communicate with her. If you don't understand clearly, ask her, I'm not sure what you mean. Ask for clarification until you understand, It's the only way. Talk amongst yourselves. Hence, it's important, first time, knowing that she's now part of this family, or she's going to join the family, to open up to her and, just discuss things in general, open discussions will also help you to be able to understand some part of her thinking that, this one is sort of like she's saying, it took time to know that, Mama, this, she won't accept this. Same with me. When I walk into her house, anything I come across, I just accept. I can tell even when she's tired that she's tired today. I will not say, she doesn't want me here, she's not smiling. I will tell she's tired. And where I can, you will see me bringing water to her and say, can I bring you some glass of water? Recently it happened, she wasn't well. She didn't tell me she wasn't well, but I could just tell. So we need to know each other. And the only way to know each other is to open up the channels of communication. Whilst it's still nice. Don't wait until tensions start showing up, and then you start saying, well, I have to be patient. Maybe you are the Makota, I need to be patient, because these things will pile up. And once they pile up, it will be very difficult to address them. Then you will burst. So it's best just to try and avoid those things. Communication is one way which is a preventative measure to unnecessary tensions and unnecessary stressful situations.
Wow. Thank you so much for giving us your inputs and helping us with the building blocks towards establishing boundaries and clarifying roles in our lives as mothers-in-laws and daughters-in-laws. Personally, I feel a little and more empowered. It's not the same as I came into this new role that I'm in as a mother-in-law. Next week, we will be having experts. So keep sending your remarks, keep sending your stories and your questions. We will unpack them together with the experts. They'll give us, clarification as to this and that we'll be asking, and give us your stories that we can use as learning tools to all the mothers-in-laws and the daughters-in-law. Can you give us your closing remarks?
Mother, one of the very key factors in such a relationship, like with your children, it's prayer. Pray without ceasing. Like we pray that our children must get us spouses, daughters-in-law and sons-in-law that are into our faith and all. Pray, and ask Holy Spirit to intervene somewhere when you feel, I'm not happy. He will give you peace, So pray for them, pray for yourself. Keep on praying.
Keep on praying.
I don't know another way of dealing with issues. Keep on praying.
Pray for them.
When she first met me, I started talking to her about God and praying. And there was a challenge in her work situation. I said, my daughter, believe. And you start declaring, we are praying right now. And a miracle happened. But it's a story for another day. Thank you. So let's pray.
Thank you. We pray for our daughters-in-law. Your closing remark, the thought that you leave with the mothers and daughters-in-law out there.
Okay, in closing, I would say to the daughters-in-law and mothers-in-law out there, it's a two-way street. It can't be one party coming to the table. You both work together. Mutual respect is important, and some relationships will not go as smoothly from the beginning, but don't give up. It will get better. Give yourself time and make an effort. Try to build a relationship with your mother-in-law. It will help you somewhere along the line.
It's a two-way street. It is a two-way street. On that note, compassionate people ask for what they need. They say no when they need to, and when they say yes, they mean it. They are compassionate because their boundaries keep them out of resentment. Brené Brown. Thank you for tuning in. Continue to subscribe and continue to share. Next week, we are meeting here with the experts on the subject resolving conflict. God bless you.